right, the question here is find a polynomial of least possible degree having the shown graph. So if you have a 0 of -5, that means you're going to have a factor of x minus a -5, so it makes it a factor x plus 5. And you also have a 0 of 3, so that factor will be x minus 3. All right. Now let's look at the behavior as it's around the zeros. This is going straight through. If you would zoom in enough, in fact, it looks, if you can zoom in enough, it almost just looks like a straight line. I'm not able to zoom in on this device, but as much as I would like. But this would be a linear. The fact that it's going through means that it's an odd power. If the next odd power would be a cube, if it was an x plus 5 cubed, it would kind of flatten out as it went through like a cubic graph through that 0, and there's none of that going on, so we know it has to be a power of 1. On the 0 of 3, we are not passing through and past that 0. We're doing this bouncing type of thing, and that's an even type of behavior. And since we want the least possible degree, the least possible even power would be a 2. All right, so I know that I have this f of x, that's what they want us to name it. F of x equals this thing with the zeros, but it does not mean that we know what the coefficient is in front. They've identified this 0.09 for you, so you can use that in the parts that you have so far to figure out what that coefficient is. What does that coefficient in front do? That's the thing that's in charge of making your function flip to reflect over the x-axis. It's the thing that causes your graph to grow faster or grow slower, so it would be stretching or shrinking vertically by that factor. So this is the only clue that we have to find that, but it's quite easy to use. We put a 0 in for all of the x's and a 9 in for the y, or f of x's. So I had this f of x. I'm going to replace it with the 9 that's identified in this point, equals, I don't know what a is, and x is 0 at that point, so it'd be 0 plus 5, and a 0 minus 3 squared. And then I've got 9 is a times 5 times -3 squared is 9. And right here, if I would divide both sides by 9, then I would have 1 equals 5a. So that means that a is 1/5. Now that you've solved for a, then you can go back and kind of backfill that a value of 1/5, and you know that that is your polynomial that you needed. Okay, that's it.